Welcome back, it's Javier.
And Adela. And today we're going to be talking about a weird one.
Very, very weird one.
Super weird one. And that is The Lighthouse. This is starring Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson. And it's just a weird one. It's from Robert Eggers. He was the same filmmaker that made The Witch. I've talked about it in a lot of our videos. That's one of my favorite horror movies. So I had really high expectations for this movie, and it didn't disappoint. It's just really weird.
Definitely a weird one. I haven't seen anything like this one.
So it's basically about these two guys, Willem Dafoe. I call him Willem Dafoe, it's a joke. But Willem Dafoe's character is like this, obviously an older guy who's been keeping lighthouses for like a long time. And then Robert Pattinson plays a character who's just coming in, keeping lighthouses for the first time, and he's kind of like the lackey, like he's doing all the other work that like no one else wants to do. So they go to this remote lighthouse on this island. It takes place in the 1890s. They kind of just start to like go crazy. Like the Willem Dafoe's character talks about how his old like partner, his old second, went crazy, like killed himself. Talking about seeing like sirens and mermaids and stuff like that, and yeah, I really don't even know fully what this movie was about.
Yeah,
it's one of those movies that's just like, you know?
And it's one of those movies where I think it's definitely up to the viewer to come up with their own ending, like what you think actually went on the island, because it has one of those endings. If you have seen Shutter Island, it kind of has one of those kind of endings where like, what the hell, like.
Yeah.
So watching this movie, like throughout the movie, I was kind of coming up with my own little theories as to like how this movie was gonna like end, and then finally getting to the end, like none of the theories that I had in mind, none of the endings that I had pictured, any of the outcomes, is like none of that ever happened. Like I'm like, well, okay, so.
Yeah.
What is this actually about?
It was a little hard to follow. It is in full black and white, and it's also filmed, I don't know what they call it. Like it's like in a square. It's not like
pillar box presentation is what it is on here.
Pillar box presentation. So it's like a square. Like it's a perfect square. It's not
widescreen or full screen. It's But yeah, it's definitely one of those weird ones. A lot of weird stuff like starts happening, and like with these two guys, you know, they're not really all that friendly towards each other because they don't really know each other all that well. So like the main guy, the lighthouse keeper, he's like really mean to like the.
Yeah, they don't even tell each other their names until like the movie's almost over. It's pretty weird.
But yeah, like they both start like doing things that like each other kind of like, they start looking at each other like, what are you doing? Like,
yeah, like you're going crazy. Like they both look at each other like each other are going crazy, but I think like everybody's crazy. Like,
it's a pretty interesting movie. And then like what adds to this is Robert Pattinson's character in this movie has like these really weird dreams. It's like what is going on in his head?
There's a lot of weird sexual stuff in this movie too, so if like you're not down for that, it's a little weird.
It's really interesting movie. There's like in this movie, of course, Willem Dafoe's character, or Dafoe's character, his character like speaks in like kind of like an old pirate kind of like slang and stuff. He uses.
He used to be a sailor, and then he injured his leg somehow. That's another thing, is that his story of how he injured his leg changes throughout the movie. Like he has like 3 different stories of how his leg got injured. But he used to be a sailor, so he very much talks in like pirate lingo and like weird old poems. He has a lot of like intense monologues throughout the film.
Some of the best monologues I've ever seen in a movie, actually. Like,
they're really good monologues.
Oh, like I feel like this really showcases how good he is as an actor, because these are like really long, so like that it'd take a lot of work to memorize a lot of the stuff that he's saying. It's like, wow.
And of course they're, you know, it's from the 1800s, so they're obviously speaking in Old English. Like you know, language that we wouldn't quite
understand.
Yeah.
We'd be like, what are you saying right now?
But Robert Pattinson's character talks in like a strange New England type accent. It's unlike any accent I've ever heard before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's definitely an interesting watch. It's black and white, pillar box presentation, and there's a lot of like psychological stuff that goes on in this movie. You're like wondering what the hell is going on. There's this he keeps saying Willem Dafoe's character in this movie keeps saying something about how you can't kill like a, what is it?
A pigeon. A seagull.
A seagull, killing a seagull brings bad luck. So like there's a lot of seagulls throughout the whole movie flying around, kind of giving to like that creepy aspect of the movie. Like you don't know what's really gonna happen in this movie because they're on this island just trying to for what is it, like a month long, 2 months long. They're like waiting for.
Yeah, it's like a month. So it's 4 weeks, and 2 weeks apparently have gone by before anything really starts happening. And it's like everything really happens in the last day that they're supposed to be there, but then there's like some weird time lapse.
Yeah,
and there's like a storm of the ship that was supposed to come get them and relieve them, like never showed up because of this storm. But then they say that like it's only been a day, but then it's been like weeks, and it's really, really confusing.
Yeah, you like again with this movie, watching it, this is kind of one of those movies where you might have your own theories as to what could really be going on in this movie, how the outcome is gonna be. Trust me, whatever you're thinking is probably not gonna happen in this movie. It felt
like we were tripping on mushrooms.
It's a very unpredictable movie. You truly do not know what's gonna happen with this movie, and like with any other characters, who's bad, who's good, because in both of their eyes, they're seeing each other as like bad guys.
But neither of them are likable at all.
Yeah, so this is kind of one of those movies where like even if there is a good guy and a bad guy, or like whatever conclusion you come to, they're not very likable at all. I mean,
They're
Robert
really
Pattinson's character starts out as a likable kind of character, but throughout this movie you
learn more about him, and you see, like, I don't know, man. Like, they're just both really not likable people. And it's just crazy.
Yeah, this movie it's a great movie. It honestly is, and I really like the way this movie was shot. Like what the director was going for with this look. He, watching the special features, he got like a different kind of like camera for this movie, and like used different kind of filters to kind of make it look.
They actually use like really old lenses, like lenses that would have been used if this movie was filmed in the time period it takes place in, which was pretty cool.
I think one of my favorite aspects of this movie, one of like the camera aspects, is like there's like grain throughout the movie, makes it feel like you're watching like a really like classic title. Like honestly, in my opinion, it would have been like it would have been kind of fun with the kind of movie this is to throw in some title cards. Although title cards really were only used in like silent black and white movies back then, but that kind of would have been a cool touch also.
I don't know. It is a good movie. I did enjoy it, but it's also one of those that just kind of leaves you like, huh?
It's definitely a weird watch. If you are into psychological horror, this is definitely right up your alley. It's really, really good. And if you don't mind watching a movie in black and white, which, I mean, if it calls for it like this one, I really don't mind. Then this is like the perfect movie for you. It's really good.
It is a really good movie. Highly recommend. I'd give it an 8 out of 10. It would be higher if I understood what the fuck was going on.
Yeah, this is definitely one for this one I think I will give it a 7 out of 10, at least until I watch it a couple more times. Kind of see if there is something I can gather from it, because it truly is a good movie though. So for anybody who hasn't seen this movie, is thinking of watching it, definitely check this one out. And this was put out by A24, and they usually are good at putting out like stuff like this.
And Robert Pattinson's come a long way since Edward. Thank you guys so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed. Be sure to go follow both of us on Instagram. We'll have them on the screen and down below for you. Leave this video a like if you liked it before you go. Drop us a comment down below. Have you seen this movie? Are you planning on seeing it? What do you think? What are your theories? We want to hear it all in the comments. If you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell next to it for notifications so you never miss one of our uploads. We'd love to have you here and part of our family. Alright, bye. Don't do drugs.